Hi, everybody. Here we are, all you happy people out there. It's springtime or something. It's close to spring. Is it spring yet?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if
Hi, Dylan, by the way.
Hey, how's it going? Good
It's
morning.
going good. Yeah.
It feels like spring, that's for sure.
It feels like spring. That's because our minds are sprung. When your mind is sprung, every day is like spring. There you go. That's our new saying of the day. When your mind is sprung, every day is like spring. Repeat that 3 times and you'll believe it. Say it 14 times and you'll believe it. When your mind is sprung, every day is like spring. There we go. That's our mantra for the day. Are we blissnies? Are we spiritual beings? You didn't know that by listening to my brand of sarcasm that I was some kind of spiritual being.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a guru.
I'm a guru. Guru. That sort of runs when I sit, I start drooling out of the corners of my mouth, like guru. That's a word you say and the drool comes right out of the corners of your mouth. Maybe that's how they invented it. They were high. What can we call ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay, say it again.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's accurate.
Wow. Welcome to Tuesday, everybody. Oh, on the 7th of May, which is not too far from now, that's what, a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
That's a Tuesday, everybody. Gene Aguilera is going to be here, and we're going to have some really great LA history, boxing.
Great.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. It's going to be great. I thought maybe I'd talk about some boxing the day before to sort of set the stage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tell some boxing stories, and then Gene will show up, and he's the guy, man. He's the man. He's got all the great memorabilia and all that stuff.
Yeah, excellent.
He sent me these texts of all these events that were occurring this weekend. Like shocking bunch of events this coming weekend. Like every day a different, like somebody put together this traveling boxing thing that's going from place to place. And anyway, I'll show you on my phone. It was pretty cool.
Cool, yeah. Excellent.
And Gene's all part of that too, man. The whole LA boxing culture, people don't realize what a huge culture we had in LA of boxing.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was mostly Hispanic boxing, but the boxers, anyway, it was fucking LA, man. I love LA.
Yeah, I want to ask him if there was any South American boxers.
I'm sure there were.
In addition to the Central American, yeah. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a little bit of everybody, but it was mostly, mostly. Hey, everybody. This is so cool to be here today with you all. Sorry I played so shitty yesterday. I've been beating myself up ever since. You can't understand what it's like in my brain. I walk around all day yesterday going, what the fuck? How could I play like that yesterday? And I'm just like, walking around talking to myself the whole day about it, going, what the fuck? What was that all about, Anyway, sometimes it's better than others. That's how it goes. What else did I want to tell you guys? We're supposed to have agendas. Oh, I was going to talk about guests. We have, 154 members now or something like that?
Subscribers, yeah.
Subscribers, yeah, not members, subscribers. Valuables. Anyway, we have subscribers, 154. And I was thinking, no wonder people are clamoring to come on a podcast. Like they like to go where there's big numbers. They want to throw down those big numbers.
That's right.
And grow their channel. What better place to grow your channel? Here where we have 154 subscribers.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't find that every day. But we have very important subscribers.
That's right.
Yeah, they're really important, especially to us.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, we like it. You know how they have those doomsday clock? We could have a big clock about how many subscribers we have. And it would be so funny. It would be like a standing joke. It's already a standing joke here at the Honest Bullshit Movie Studios. Yeah, it's already a standing joke here. We joke about it every day. It isn't like that we're stressing out about it.
Right.
Plus, I'm the only one that has to take it personally. Like I'm the only one that feels personal rejection when the numbers are so low. But I think, that's totally cool. I like that.
Well, we kind of did it nonchalantly from the ground up, sort of just quietly started it, and I think it'll just
we're
keep
creeping
building.
in under the radar, way under the radar. If we were a stealth missile, we would be in demand. We were like down there, hugging the ground, man. We're not sticking our little head up too much. Yeah. Oh, Dan's going to come when Gene's here as well. So it'll be Dan and Gene.
Okay. Maybe remind our viewers who Dan is again. He's a friend of yours and got us in touch with Gene, correct?
Dan is vast.
Yeah.
He has a lot of knowledge about the whole music scene. Yeah, he really is a reservoir of information, obscure artists, and all kinds of stuff. He really blows my mind with the stuff he knows. And he knew Gene, and that's how we hooked up with Gene.
Yeah.
And so he turned us on to the downtown thing.
Okay, yeah.
He would have been with us, but he was sick. We wouldn't go in the building with him. Yeah, he said he feels good now. I talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
But he's looking forward to coming too. So that's going to be on the 7th.
Okay, so both those guys will be on the show?
Yeah, they're both going to
great.
be at the same time
Oh,
because they
excellent.
know each other. And,
Yeah, fantastic.
And they're cool with it. Yeah. But I'll talk to Alex and see, this is behind the scenes, everybody. It's like you guys are sitting here looking in on our little meeting about the future. Every day it's about the future. Right?
Right.
I think. Or we could talk about the past. I was going to tell Jimi Hendrix stories, but I'm trying to tell my little musical story in chronological order. So now I've joined this band in my last story, and we play in Hollywood for a year and a half at this club, 6 nights a week, 4 sets a night. Think about that for a second. 6 nights a week, 4 sets a night.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, man, we were sweating at that gig, and it was fun, man. It was the most fun I ever had in my whole life. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you all about that gig because it was unbelievable. It was like I died and gone to heaven. Everybody famous I'd ever seen was there every night.
That is so cool, man.
And I'm just sitting there, little organ player guy, going,
Yeah.
This is way better than farm work.
Definitely.
Anyway, what else? Yeah, so when I finish telling all about that, then I can start talking about the whole 60s
Okay, yeah.
music scene and how I felt about it,
Great. Yeah, we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah. What else? That's it. So that's the music thing's going to go chronologically.
Yeah.
And the boxing, I got to tell some boxing stories before Gene shows up because that's really a whole thing. Wow. I love boxing. When I was younger, I thought when I got to be an old guy, I would love to be one of those old guys that sits around the gym and makes wisecracks,
Right.
Like a bunch of old guys in the chair, like Sanford and Son, man. 108th and Broadway downtown used to be like that. It used to be these old guys that sat in the chairs there.
Okay, yeah.
They were so fucking funny, man. They would say shit. It was great. It was great. I used to look at those guys, thought, man, I could be like that when I'm an old guy. I could just sit there and make wisecracks, Anyway,
Yeah.
I loved it. I would have a gym that just to sit around and say shit. That would be fun.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so much to talk about with boxing. I talk about my boxer, talk about the gym, how miraculous the gym was.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about how you first got into it. What was the catalyst that
so crazy.
led
It's
to
so
that?
crazy,
Yeah.
Mostly my attraction to the whole deal was the characters. The boxing world was full of characters. All the side people and all the side hustles and all the people, all the auxiliary little patch of people that hang around the whole deal.
Right.
What characters? What a character street scene fucking characters. That's all I can say about it, man. Everybody is characters.
Wow.
Anyway, that's what I loved about it, about the boxing, was the characters.
Yeah.
Wow, I got some great stories.
That's great. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. There was this one guy, I'll tell you one quick story. You want to hear it?
Sure, yeah.
There was this guy, Mike the Bounty Hunter. I think his sons are trainers now and have a gym in Vegas or something. But Mike the Bounty Hunter was like a heavyweight. And he could make anybody look like a fool in the gym. You know what I mean? When he sparred with people, he'd clown people. It was like the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, he would make people look stupid, and they'd be trying to hit him, and he was so slippery and relaxed, Wow. And he would go out and smoke a big joint before he would spar.
Oh, no way.
He'd be so high, and he'd be in there just goofing on everybody, making fun of him, and nobody could hit him, man. He was the most amazing, slippery character. He would stand right in there and roll punches. It was shocking. But there's a whole there's a thing well known in boxing. There's guys that are really good in the gym, but when they get in a real boxing competition, they do the tighten up. It's not that they aren't good enough, but they do the tighten up, and they never quite.
Wow.
So that was his thing.
Yeah, I see.
He was in the gym, man. Nobody could touch him. He made everybody look like a fool. Even the best guys, he would clown them, you know.
Right.
But when he got into a real match, he did the tighten up, and he didn't bring that same looseness.
Wow. Okay.
And he didn't bring that aspect with him.
Right.
Like he used it in the gym, you know. In the gym, he was like fucking hilarious, man. He'd be so high. We'd go out in the parking lot and smoke doobies and come inside, and he'd go in the ring and just fucking clown people. People that were serious, too. They were like training for fights.
Yeah.
And he just fucking frustrated them so bad. Anyway, it was a great thing to see. It was a beautiful thing to see.
That's amazing.
I know his sons run a gym in Vegas now. I heard he's dead. But he was great, man. He was fucking great.
Yeah, it makes sense with the change of environment, how that can affect the fighter. You know, when you have the roar of the crowd and the pressure of the tournament, it's not like being in the gym.
It's so psychological. It's such a head case between. So much of it occurs between your ears, you know.
Right.
Like, look at Tyson when he was unbeatable. It was all between his ears, man. He knew he could. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, that was a great experience watching that guy and learning that. When I first started managing boxers, this old guy that was a manager, managed a bunch of people, Mike Weaver and people. I forget his name, but he told me, he says, Lee, I'm going to give you some advice. He says, don't fall in love with your boxer. And what he meant by that was everybody, when they're starting out, you know, they'll be managing somebody and they'll be so into it that they're not being objective enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they so into it, you know?
Right.
And so that was good advice from him because I would keep remembering that, you know?
Yeah, I see.
As I was doing dumb shit. Anyway, boxing was fun, man.
Wow, that's so cool.
And those are just, that was just a little easy story. I got some really wild stories.
Yeah, excellent.
Involving the police and just fucking nuts, man. Just crazy shit. Yeah, you're going to love them. Yeah.
Cool. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. I got so inspired when we went to that thing downtown and saw that whole exhibition on Alvera Street there.
Yeah.
With all the boxers and stuff. After watching that, I was so inspired. And then they showed the roller derby at the Olympic, and I went, fuck, I used to go there when I was 9 years old, you know?
Right.
It was really but the boxing really inspired me. I thought, I want to own a gym again, you know? It just was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seemed like there was some crossover between the boxing fans and the pro wrestling fans back then. Did those crowds, they were separate? Okay.
No.
Interesting. Yeah, tell me about that because I'm curious what you thought of.
It seemed like the wrestling was more trashers than the roller derby.
Oh, okay.
And the boxing was hardcore boxing fans.
Right.
I mean, boxing was really a sport. Roller derby and wrestling were just like some kind of white trash spectacle, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was pretty funny. Yeah, it was distinctly different.
Cool.
Different.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, the boxing was for real. You know, the boxing was blood and guts, man.
Right.
Especially back in those days, the championship fights were like 15 rounds. And all the great shit happened always in the last 3 rounds of those fights.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
All the brain damage occurred mostly in the later rounds. Yeah, boxing, man, it's a tough sport.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I was only barely worthy, maybe not even worthy. Maybe I paid my way into that one. Mm-hmm. But just holding the spit bucket, that was all I was worthy of, man. When you get there and see real fighters and you see it's coming from their guts, man.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the when I was playing music, when I was trying to do it really hard, you know, I felt like it was my only chance in life. Like I really felt that in my guts. I felt like this is my only chance. This is my only fucking chance, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't think that I could do anything else, or that I could ever aspire to anything. This was my only chance. That's how I felt about it. I was like so.
Yeah.
And because I had no like role models and shit, you know, like. So this was my only chance, you know. And so when I checked out the boxing and the boxers, I realized a lot of them, In fact, most of them feel the same way.
Okay.
It's very few of them are boxing out of some kind of athletic aspiration.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's an era of desperation and
Wow.
like they're fighting for their life, you know? And
Yeah.
I sort of relate to that, you know? When I see these boxers, I think, well, I don't have the courage they have, but I understand their struggle and I understand where they're coming from, like in terms of feeling like that's their only fucking chance, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty profound. Yeah.
And like, and you think, yeah, it's really profound because that's the truth. For a lot of those guys, it is their only chance.
Yeah, I see.
You know?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Boxing, man. Boxing's the real shit. Yeah, so comparing it to roller derby or big time wrestling, yeah, I know those guys are athletic on some level, but it's not the same as these guys that are fighting for their life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're fighting for their fucking life. And I see that in rock and roll, too. Sometimes you can tell the bands that are fighting for their lives and the ones that came from the middle class and are just like middle class
I see, yeah.
white boy bands or whatever they are. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
you can tell that, you can see the people that are fighting for their life. You can feel it out of them. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
And then you always heard people say, oh, they're not hungry anymore. They're not as good as they used to be hungry, you know, but it's that hunger, you know, like.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's that hunger that just makes you go, yes, you know what I mean? Like, snaps your head around. Boxers have that in fucking by the tons, man. They got that hunger.
Wow, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's not recreational.
Right.
Even though they enjoy it, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Like it's serious shit. It's life and death crap, you know? Whew, don't get me started on boxing. I love boxing. I wrote on a piece of paper, what makes people fight? And then underneath that I wrote, what makes people watch? You know, it's just like, it's such a primal thing, you know, probably since the beginning of time when two people started getting down for any reason and everybody stopped whatever they're doing and watches, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's sort of how like all these sports are, like boxing and UFC and all these things. The whole world kind of stops and watches.
Yeah.
It's just as primal as if it was just a small group of people stopping and watching. It's the same exact emotion, right?
Right.
Like we have to watch.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love boxing. I love my boxing sport that I invented.
Yeah, that's right.
Face fighting. Man, I want to do it. I want to really do it. I haven't had the opportunity. Out here in the driveway was, you know, we were pretending to show it, and then the girls did it, and they were having fun, but it wasn't real fighting, like I imagined the sport really being, you know. So I have a feeling Gene's going to be able to hook us up to some people to hook us up with some boxers to really do it with real boxers.
Okay, great.
Because that would be a... Yeah, I got to call a few people too. Everybody's so intense. Boxing's for real. Nobody's like doy-de-doy, you know. But there are people that will go around and spar and do stuff, you know, for money. So
yeah. You ever thought of reopening Quake City boxing?
The gym, I think about that, but I think about there's other stuff I want to do. Like for me, it's allocating my time. Like I'm 78, so I think, well, I'm 78, you know. I'm having a lot of fun doing all this shit, and if I sidetrack and do that, like when I was younger, I had the gym and I sidetracked for a couple of years. That was cool. I don't have a couple of years to fuck around right now.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm 78. I think, well, I'll fuck around for a couple of years. I don't think so. I'm sort of like on the serious side in terms of wanting to do shit. Like I want to be creative.
Yeah.
Boxing's not creative. Boxing's a real contradiction for me because I love it. You know, and I love the whole thing, and I love the people and the whole deal. And then but it is beating people up. It's violent, and it's, you know, and I'm about. I want to play music and make little films and do my thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. That to me is more gratifying. But I love boxing. I could easily, like sometimes I think, what if my hands got cut off? I go, well, you could still sing. Well, what if my tongue got ripped out? You go, oh, I could be involved in boxing. No tongue and no hands. I'd fit right in. I'd be one of those guys at the gym making wisecracks, but you wouldn't be able to understand me because my tongue's gone. Like, don't worry about it. I mean, it's always like that.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the old guy at the gym with the old guy with the no tongue. Yeah.
There's a character right there.
Yeah, that's a character. Yeah. See, if AI, check it out. If we had AI right now, AI could have listened to us say, okay, AI, show us that scene we just talked about. AI would create those people with the no tongue, and we'd see the scene right there.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to storyboard it or anything.
Yeah, I could probably do that for you right now on Instagram.
Oh, fuck.
You can do that now. They have the AI feature where you can just tell it whatever and it paints the picture. You can storyboard and create characters.
Oh, man, I think of stuff all the time. It would be horrible. Anyway, we've been on here a long time today?
20 minutes, yeah.
20 minutes. Time goes slow when I'm talking fast, or fast when I'm talking slow.
I don't know.
So what about you, Dylan? What'd you do last night? Anything good?
I worked on some stuff. I'm working on a project in Guatemala right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Now, how did you come across a Guatemala project? From people you knew in China?
Yeah, there's a long time. A friend of mine, he's the chemical engineer and photovoltaic expert. So he asked me to join it as part of the project. So
That's fucking amazing.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so cool
fun.
that it's so international. I mean, that's what's amazing about it to me.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that, man, it's wide open out there.
Right.
Wow. I didn't play that same song today yet. I'm not going to play today. I'm looking at my keyboard. I have disdain for my keyboard. It was not nice to me yesterday. And I was playing earlier today. I said, well, does it still hate me? And it was sort of lukewarm. Maybe it's the keyboard that decides if it's going to be a good or bad day.
Right.
The keyboard has a mind of its own. Anyway, maybe we should get off, make it a short one today, Tuesday. It's so much fun. Let me look at my thing here.
Yeah, it was a good boxing episode. Intro to boxing. Get us pumped for those stories.
Boxing. Oh. My boxing had a few stages. Like the one stage where I went to the gyms, went, whoa, I like this. And then my girlfriend's brother wanted to be a boxer. Wanted to try to be a professional boxer. He was a kickboxer, but he wanted to try professional boxing. I says, well, I'll be your manager. And it was sort of like a goof, right?
Wow, yeah, I see.
And so we started going to the gyms, and instantly I was going, fuck, I like this, you know.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And yeah. So then he decided not to be a boxer. And we had booked a fight at the Forum, and the guy at the Forum that books the fights, what's his name, Torres or someone. Anyway, he told me, he goes, Lee, we don't usually deal with people that aren't professionals, and you're not really in the business because it never goes good. He goes, it always goes the same. They drop out. He goes, you got to tell me if we book your fighter, you're not going to drop out on me. He goes, that's the one thing you cannot do. He goes, that's the most unprofessional thing. He goes, and that's why we never deal with guys like you. And I go, no, we'll be there for sure. We'll take the fight. My fighter said, so he says, yeah, we'll take the fight, my fighter. So I tell him, yeah. And so then I have to call him back and tell him, like a week later, my fighter says he changed his mind. He doesn't want to do the fight. I says, you can't do that to me.
Oh, shit.
The Forum was the biggest fight thing at the time here in LA. It was a big venue for fights.
Okay. And
the head of the fucking whole boxing is telling me if I fuck up, I'm done. And so I call him up and I go, this is Lee. I go, my boxer just told me he's not going to do the fight. Yeah. And the guy just goes fucking ballistic and starts cussing on the phone, calls me every name in the book.
Holy shit, man.
And I'm going, man, I deserve it. I go, you're absolutely right. Everything you're saying is 100% right. He goes, you'll never work in this town again. He's telling me, you're done with this. That's why we don't deal with you fucks. He goes, every time we deal with someone like you, it always turns out the same. It always turns out the same. Damn. And he's just telling me, he goes, don't ever call me again. He goes, we're finished, you know. And I go, well, so I tell him, I said, well, the next time you see me, I'll have a real boxer. And he goes, there won't be a next time. And he hangs up on me.
Holy shit.
And so a year later, so then my guy tells me he doesn't want to be a fighter.
Yeah, that's terrible.
The boxer, we've been going over to the gym, stuff. And I don't blame him. We had a sparring session, and somebody knocked him out in the sparring session.
Oh shit!
And he came to his senses. No, nothing like getting knocked out to make you realize where you're at. We were having a sparring session with this guy and hit the guy too hard, so the guy hit him back and knocked him out. Damn. And was that one of the Goosen kids? Not the one that died, but the other one. It was one of him. Anyway.
So there's nothing you could say to convince your fighter to
No, I didn't blame him either.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know why he wanted to be a fighter to begin with.
Yeah, I see.
But he did knock out somebody in the kickboxing. He was tough.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to try being a professional boxer. So we tried it. But then so the guy told me, you're done because of my fighter canceled. He goes, I knew it would happen. The guy just told me, he goes, I knew it. He's just like, and he did know it, and he was right.
Right.
Exactly what he said not to do, I did.
Yeah, I see.
So anyway, jump forward a year. So I think, how am I going to stay in the boxing business? I'm fucked. I don't have a fighter, and I just got eliminated from the biggest venue in Los Angeles for life, you know.
Wow.
What am I going to do, you know?
Yeah, I see.
So then I thought, I'll open a boxing gym. I swear to God, that's why I opened the boxing gym.
Oh, okay.
Because
Wow.
I wanted to, I liked boxing, and I liked all the characters, and I thought, no, I'm not going to walk away. This is too much fun, and I want to do this, you know. So then I got
Nice.
this gym, and then the shit just clicked, man.
Wow.
And we'll talk about that later. But and it wasn't a gym for yuppies. It was a real gym for real fighters.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And I'll talk about that later at next time. But that's a real story, that gym. The fighters that came there were shocking. It was right here in Venice.
Yep, Quake City Boxing, right?
Yeah, it was over
Yeah.
on Abbott Kinney, but it was called West Washington Boulevard at the time. The
Okay.
name hadn't changed to
Yeah,
Abbott Kinney.
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow, pretty cool.
Anyway, wait till you hear about that gym. That gym was shocking. I was shocked, man. I just sat there and went, fuck. Once again, it was like I was a kid. It was like when I was a kid in that band and everybody famous I ever knew was there playing music and sitting in with us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, wow, how did I wind up like this? Same with the boxing gym. I opened the boxing gym and all of a sudden it's full of famous fucking fighters.
Wow. Yeah.
And nobody else, no yuppies, no nothing, just real fucking fighters. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, I can't believe this. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there going, this is impossible. That this, you know, because a lot of people open gyms, but they don't have fighters like that in their gyms. I'll tell you next time when we meet, I'm going to tell you the name of all the fighters that were at my gym. You're going to blow your mind. You're going to go, no, how is that possible? And I'll tell you how it all occurred. But I just stayed out of the way. I stayed humble the whole time because I realized the whole time I was only worthy of holding a spit bucket at the most. You see the work all those people put in when they're getting ready for fights and the real when they're being real.
Yeah.
It's not a joking matter, man. It's fucking the most intense, crazy shit on the planet.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, it's really intense. And then if your fighter's a crackhead, woo, it adds a whole other dimension to it. I'm going to talk about that too, but
Wow,
that's
yeah.
part of the story as it goes on. We're going to talk about the gym and then this after I left and what we did that was even more exciting.
Gotcha.
You're not going to believe the boxing stories. Woo! I don't believe them. Even when I tell them, I go, that didn't really happen, but I know it happened. I was there. I lived it.
Wow.
You're going to love these stories. It's like a barbecue. You have to wait to eat it. So we're telling you little stuff every day leading up to the big story.
Right.
Wow.
Cool. Oh, can't wait.
And Gene said he's going to take us over to the gyms.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Fuck.
Pretty cool.
East Los. Here we come, you guys. We're going to come to the gyms. Check it out. I love it. You know, when I was owning a gym, I didn't want, a lot of people own gyms and they manage boxers and the boxers train at their gym.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that kind of gym. I wanted to be more like neutral territory where anybody could come there and train, wouldn't feel like they're going somebody else's turf. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
That's
it wouldn't
good.
be like some other boxer's turf that they're in, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because everybody's got their crowd, you know,
Sure, yeah.
to bring with them. So I wanted to be a gym that was neutral so anybody could come there and they wouldn't have to feel like they're in somebody else's scene. So once I started managing someone seriously, I sold the gym.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to, I didn't want that conflict of interest, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted the gym to be a gym for a neutral kind of gym.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
And managing the boxer was really exciting. Those stories are great too. That's the ones that are going to blow your mind and go, no, that didn't really happen.
Yeah, this is great.
I got great Don King stories and all these people in lawsuits with those guys. Just fucking nuts, insane shit, man. Just like, you can't believe how there's no rules.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Once we got in the top 10, I would get calls in the middle of the night threatening me, telling me,
Wow.
telling me, you have no business being in the boxing business. You better get out now. You know, they just like threatening. You know, not saying what they were going to do to me, but just telling me I had no business. And I get woke up at 2 a.m. and I answer the phone. It's somebody on the phone telling me I have no business being in the boxing business. And
Jesus.
and I go, you're absolutely right. I would tell them, and I always agree with them. Whatever they'd say, I go, yeah, you're right. I go, so now what? You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't belong here, but here I am. You know, that was my attitude. Yeah, what am I doing here? What are you doing here? I hear you. You know, I would just talk to them, and they would just hang up on me.
That's funny. Yeah.
But and then I had a guy that advised me. His name was Shelley Finkel, and I would mention to him about that stuff, and he'd go, "Oh, it's so and so's people." I won't mention his name, but it's a famous guy who was involved with all the famous boxers throughout history. So you know who it is, but I'm not going to mention his name. But he said it was his guys. That once I hit the top 10, it was his guys that were calling and making these stupid ass threats. Anyway, that's fun, right? I don't know if boxing's still like that. I think some of those people are still like that because human nature is human nature. And you find all kinds of people around the boxing world. Not everybody's like,
Yeah.
it isn't Kumbala'ville. Everybody's an opponent. You know,
Yeah.
it's sort of an adversarial world. Everybody kind of keeps their respect to a certain extent, but it's pretty adversarial. It's a intense thing. Yeah. Cool. And all those guys are way more courageous than myself. I know I keep repeating that aspect of it, but I can't overestimate that to anyone in the planet. There's no one more brave than those guys, you know.
Did you ever feel the urge to get in the ring and do anything like that?
No, I got hit once.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I grew up I was a military brat. So once at a military base, this airman talked me into getting in the ring with him.
Okay.
And he hit me twice, and I instantly quit because I knew instantly I was in the wrong place. He hit me once in the body and once in the head, and I fucking just ripped the gloves off. So I'm done. You know, I was like, fuck. I knew that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You know, you've been hit in the head hard, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You get hit in the head, you go, that could be an occupation? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think so. You know, or you get hit in the head, you go, this is my only chance? Yeah. So you got to like relate to these guys. It isn't like anybody likes getting hit.
Yeah.
But people are willing to get hit. But
Right.
I wasn't one of those people.
Yeah.
And I guess I just don't have the courage or I don't know. It's the only sport I know where you can lower your IQ by small increments every day. What other sport can you do that? Maybe football a little bit. But boxing, no. Boxing purposely, they're hitting at your noggin every second.
Right.
So like that's an IQ, you have IQ deficit. So if you start out really smart, you're okay. But if you start out really dumb, you're starting out near the edge. Let me tell you, man, you know.
I'm sure with UFC, it's even worse, right?
UFC, I don't know. No, they don't get pounded. Like they get down and wrestle and do shit. Like I wrestled for 4 years.
Okay.
I was the worst, by the way. I can honestly say that without a doubt. No one was ever worse than me. Also, I was the slowest runner. You ever watch those people run and they're so bad at running that you have to laugh when you watch them run because they run so bad?
Sure,
I was one of those kids, man. I would run and it would make you would laugh. I ran so bad, man. I was like the worst, slowest runner on the planet. And I thought, well, I'll do sports where I don't have to run. So I tried to wrestle. I was the worst wrestler. Yeah. Sports taught me a lot of lessons. It taught me that some people just don't got the juice, you know. You have to face facts, you know, like no matter how bad you want something, sometimes, you know, the universe tells you, well, yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
But I could count to 4 and play this stupid little music shit. And then I remember it dawned on me when I was like 7 years old, I think, I could just play like this my whole life because I knew there was people that played music and went through their whole life. Because I was watching all the adults and they all working so hard and everything, and I think all I have to do is just play this through my whole life. You know?
Yeah.
I think, wow, that's a pretty good job because I was, you know, a little kid and I was thinking,
great.
what a great job, just play the music. And,
Yeah.
you know, anyway. So we're talking. I love today's talk because we're talking about the acts of desperation that drive humanity forward. Because it's the same thing, you know, whether it drives you forward, music, or whether it drives the fighters forward. or drives humanity forward. It's that same thing that makes humanity feel like it's our only chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's not political, everybody. It's desperation. Desperation. That would be a nice song, a reggae song. We got, what we got? Desperation. Wait. Desperation. 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 Okay. It's fun, man. How funny, desperation. I'll be that guitar player in the band. When I start doing that, I always just think in my brain, I'm thinking like I'm that guitar player.
Yeah.
Doing those little up things.
Right.
Anyway, everybody, I guess that's it. We've talked enough.
Yep.
I really love today. I love today's episode. I love that we got into like
Yeah, it's great.
stuff that motivates humanity. And we have such heavy topics here. Anyway, it's so funny. Yeah. Don't forget, everybody, there's no control like out of control. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, Dylan. See you tomorrow.
See you, Lee.
3, 2, 1. Poof.